My 14 meters family is falling apart. Up until about March 2020, my family was fine. My parents were divorced on very good terms, had been for 9 years, but right as the COVID restriction began, my dad pretty much began losing it. In turn, this really screwed up my 18-year-old brother, who turned to drinking. This is how things were for a while, until about August, when my brother got a DUI, wrecking a car my dad had just bought him. And my dad isn't rich by any means. He's unemployed, with virtually no money. At this point my dad went virtually insane. Then, my dog and cat died. Not exactly helping. Then, in December my dad finally decided to go to an inpatient facility. He came out 2 weeks later, feeling good. For about a week. He went back a month later. Same deal, felt good a week, went back. And now we're here. He came out, same thing. But now, he's totally estranged. He told my mom I loathe you, fuck you, and won't give her back the $6,000 he owes her. So my mom is also financially fucked up now. My brother is in constant conflict with my mom, and my mom is crying almost every day. I just don't know what to do. I'm mind-bogglingly stressed every day and can't focus on anything. Too long didn't read. Family coming apart, dad resents mom for no reason, 18-year-old brother picking up drinking. The best way to support your family is to support yourself. It sounds selfish, but if you spiral with your family, you won't be able to do anything to help at all. You are under so much pressure, but you are not alone. You can get through this. What can you do to take care of yourself? Would staying with friends or other family help you feel safer? Are you open to speaking with a therapist? Would finding a support group where you can speak with people in similar situations help? Even starting just by opening up to a teacher you trust or a school counselor who can help you find the resources you need could be an excellent first step. But please do what you need to do to keep yourself safe and sane. We love you so much. About the only advice I can give is don't drink, smoke, toke, or do drugs. Don't even do it once. Addiction sneaks up on you. You don't even realize it until it's too late, and then you're stuck with it even if you quit and go sober. It really screws up your life. The reason I'm giving you this advice is because you seem to be at the perfect point in your life for addiction to strike. I can't give advice to fix what's going on in your life, but I can give advice on how to avoid what has screwed up my life. It's normal to want to help your family. It's normal to feel guilty that you can't help them now because you are 14. Spend as much time on sleepovers with relatives and friends as possible. Try to go to summer camp this summer, either as a camper or counselor. Be around as many healthy people as possible as much as possible. Join after school activities. Join a homework club. Babysit. Go to the mall. Talk to your youth pastor if you are involved in that world. In short, take care of yourself every day. Really focus on yourself and your well-being. You will get through this. You will be okay. Take it one day at a time. Oh man, that's a lot. It's really hard to deal with addiction in the family even as an adult. It's important for you to remember that even when your dad and your brother are messing up, it's not your responsibility to fix them. There isn't really anything you can do except take care of yourself. I feel like I should be mad at the Wholesome Award, but that actually gave me a good laugh. LMFAO. Your father and mother are going through something similar my parents went through. My father was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was a kid. He took off. This was back in the 90s, I'm 31. People get into cycles that can only be broken through self-improvement. But self-improvement is the hardest thing any of us will ever do, especially when you are in such a dark place. It sounds cliche, but your family needs positivity, encouragement, strength and understanding. I hope your parents can find the strength to understand each other for the sake of you and your brother. Try to understand your parents and not harbor too much resentment. That will eat you up from within. I got more advice if you have questions. My fiance, 30F, and I, 36 meters, are having serious issues after her sister interfered with my family's issues. Throwaway account, for obvious reasons. My fiance 1 and 1 have been together 3.5 years, engaged for 18 months and getting married in May. I thought things were wonderful, but we have hit a major problem. I work in the shipping industry and was away from home for the majority of this. Sorry for the long post, got a lot of background that led to this. A little background, my sister and fiance were best friends through our relationship. I'm very close with my sister and my parents. My fiance is very close with her sister, and we thought of everyone as our own families. Recently this last year, my sister left her mentally abusive husband for another guy. Her new guy has a bad past and criminal record, and rightfully so. Everyone is skeptical of the guy. But my sister's relationship with her new boyfriend is a whole other thing, that I'm not gonna get into, not my business as long as she is safe and happy. Since she has been with this new guy, my fiance has been very vocal about her opinion of him, that he is a criminal. This has put a strain on their friendship, of course. Little over 3 weeks ago, while going over wedding planning, my fiance told me she did not want my sister's boyfriend at any of our wedding festivities. She said she was going to approach my sister about it. A few days later, she was afraid to and asked me to confront her about this. I told her I would handle it. Knowing this request would hurt my sister's feelings, I asked my mom for advice on how to handle the situation and how best to approach my sister about this. My mother became upset over it, and was afraid that if I asked my sister this it would hurt my relationship with my sister. I knew it would hurt feelings, but I wanted to try and find a compromise somewhere in all this. After the conversation with my mom, I told my fiance how it went, and that it upset my mom. I wanted to give everyone time to cool off, as we still have 3 mpnths till wedding date. I asked my fiance please be patient, as this was not an easy subject to approach. My fiance was none too happy about my mom's reaction, and was upset as well. Later that night, my fiance and her sister had a long FaceTime call, and vented to her about her frustrations. This becomes a problem later. A few days pass. Unbeknownst to me, my mom had a chat with my sister and agreed to not bring her boyfriend. At this point, they hadn't told either my fiance or I about it. Then my sister's ex-husband receives an anonymous message on Facebook telling him how my sister cheated on him, and left him for a criminal. It was full of half-truths and assumptions, and coincidentally the few truths it included, were things my sister had only ever told 2 people, my mom and my fiance. Once the ex-husband told my about the message, shit hit the fan. Next day, I was unaware of the anonymous message, until my fiance told me she had to tell me something. She told me that her sister sent an anonymous message to my sister's ex-husband telling him what she thought was the truth. Fiance says she only vented to her sister and that her sister took it upon herself to tell the ex-husband. The message included things that were only told to my mom and fiance, so of course number 1 suspect was my fiance as the culprit of the message, but no one thought she was capable of this. I told my fiance it would be best if her sister confessed and cleared finance's name. She was upset over it all, but agreed and talked to her sister. The next morning, I awoke to a shitstorm of a group text. Fiance's sister confessed in a group chat including myself, fiance, my sister and my mother. She confessed and explained herself, and as you can expect there were a few heated words at first, but it seemed like things were being cleared up. That was until my fiance decided that was a good idea to get drunk and tell everyone off. Well, then it became just my fiance telling my mom and my sister how horrible they are in this whole ordeal and how much my fiance hated my sister's boyfriend. It went on for a couple hours of texts. I woke up the next morning to find out about all this. At first I was confused and upset, trying to figure out what happened and trying to keep peace between my family and fiance. She thinks I took my family's side and not her side, when I was on her side until she had the drunken outburst. My fiance even so much as laughed about my family being upset. This was 2 weeks ago, to the day. Over the next week we didn't talk much. Few heated words, but we agreed to give it time to cool off and try to approach this level-headed. After a week, unknown to me, my mom came by to try and talk with my fiance over things. Fiance was in driveway leaving for work when my mom came by, and told her she couldn't talk right then. Later that night, fiance sent an angry barrage of texts to my mom blaming my mom for everything. I have a sneaking suspicion that fiance was drunk again during this. As I work on ships, I was out of town. I had gotten off work early specifically to come home and work things out, as it's difficult to do these things while away for so long. This was 11 days after the anonymous message, and I was at the airport on my way home. At this point, I thought things were calming down, and we might be able to talk it out calmly. I received several texts from fiance about how she refused to pick me up at the airport, and wanted to stay in the guest bedroom when I got home. My parents ended up picking me up at the airport. That was when I found out about the angry texts fiance had sent my mom the night before. I arrived home, and had a sit-down chat with fiance finally 3 days ago. From what she says, she has no regret and refuses to apologize for the way she acted. She sincerely thinks that her sister was right in sending the anonymous message. We both agreed to stop talking about it for the day, before one of us gets too upset and prevent it from turning into a yelling match. It's been 3 days, and we've hardly spoken to each other in the house. Myself, I can't stand by and let someone intentionally hurt my family. I have talked with my family about it. They are willing to give fiance another chance on my behalf. My fiance says she refuses to be anywhere near my family and thinks I have chosen their side, while I've been trying to keep peace between everyone. Too long didn't read. Fiance's sister sent anonymous message to my sister's ex-husband, started huge family feud with my relationship hanging. I'm the balance. Is there some way I can approach this, and still keep both my family and fiance? Is there some way I can approach this, and still keep both my family and fiance? Don't marry a problematic drunk who's mentally 12 years old. That's my absolute best advice in your situation. 'Cause this type of thing tends to only gets worse. I mean, do you want to keep your fiancé? She sounds like a drama llama, somebody who has no trouble burning multiple bridges in a blaze of glory. Think of how differently this could have gone if she hadn't decided to go scorched earth everywhere. She could have said, I don't feel comfortable with this guy with a criminal past at my wedding, and maybe told the sister you guys are keeping a tighter wedding budget and guest list and she can't bring A+1. Simple. Instead she blabs some things she was probably told to keep a secret to her own sister, who then messages the ex-husband, like, why? It's so unnecessary, and all this leads to further drama, further hurt, and now she's not admitting fault to any of it. At the very least, I would expect her to be mortified this got so out of hand and maybe blamed some of her actions on alcohol consumption. Not that this excuses any of it. Your family sounds very graceful. I would just think hard if this kind of a person is somebody you truly want to spend the rest of your life with. How many more fires are you gonna find the next time you go out of town for a work thing? She is not even willing to admit fault, which is not promising this won't happen again, and again, and again. Oof. Fiancé and fiancé's sister both seem to have the same approach to drama. Why avoid it when you can create it? Halt the wedding planning. You both need more time to come together or break up. Your fiancé disrespected you and your family, gossiping and creating drama rather than letting you do what you both agreed to do. She is refusing to see what damage her actions did. She will drive a wedge between you and your family, and then it will carry over between the two of you. Are you sure you want to get married? There was never going to be a good reason for your sil to stir up drama with your sister's abusive ex-husband. Sorry, but your fiancé is more concerned with being right than doing right. This is not a good trait in a life partner. I, 27F, moved to a different city to be close to my boyfriend, 30, currently living separately, but he doesn't want to move in together. Hi friends, so I have been living in Philadelphia now for about 6 months, and I have been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years now. I usually am based out of NYC, but the industry I work in does not currently require me to be in the city because of COVID restrictions. We both agreed that me moving would be a great trial basis to see how living in the same city would be after all of this time. My current sublet will be ending in August, and I am trying to decide if I should stay in Philadelphia or move back to NYC or move back in with my parents in Pittsburgh. I brought this up to him, and he said it was on me to make that decision and he didn't want any part of it. When I brought up living together, he said he didn't want to since we would be on top of each other all of the time because of all of the current restrictions with lockdown. I am starting to feel pretty lonely in a city where the only person I know is him. His work schedule is becoming more hectic and I feel like our relationship is currently on the back burner. I totally support him and his career, but I am kind of over my days being dependent on him. Not sure what to do in this situation. Any thoughts? Is it worth trying to bring up the living together situation again? TL, Doctor, I want to move in with my boyfriend of 5 years but he doesn't want to. Not sure what to do. Update, I spoke to my boyfriend last night and basically broke down. He was very concerned because it didn't realize how hard I had been taking this move, since I have tried to make the best of things. We talked about the future and what we saw with each other, and marriage/moving in/kids is something we both want together. Of course, there are so many moving parts that I couldn't write down in one Reddit post, but sometimes it's just good to get the actual convo going, and not go straight to having Reddit fingers.